Let's take a look back then. It was a dramatic start to the race for Racing Experience. Their car having issues. Meanwhile, Lawrence Herr led from pole position as the race began, but the race would very quickly be neutralised. Mattias Jakobsen made it out onto the circuit, but the smoke that was billowing on the formation lap continued into the race. Jakobsen thought, maybe I should pull over. And the net result of that was a safety car. However, the number 12 would soon be running again. He would rejoin the rear of the field, and Mattias Jakobsen would soon be free of any smoke and setting fast lap times in the race. Eventually we went green, then single file restart in the race. Lawrence Herr set about trying to build a gap over Sufi. Meanwhile, Jakobsen, after a bit of a fight, managed to find his way past Vincent Gizzi for 5th place. Lawrence Herr had built maybe a second of gap over Sufi before a lockup into the hairpin down at turn 6. And so his gap was ebbed away, having to start from ground zero once again. Some dramas further back as drivers wrestle with these rather manual LMP3 cars. They are pretty lo-fi beasts, perhaps, compared to the GT3 machines. Mattias Jakobsen continued his charge, getting past Philip Lindberg here for 4th position. Pit stops and some investigation from high-class racing on their Ligier. DKR Engineering, meanwhile, had to push start the Duquesne, and unfortunately they lost a lap in the process. That meant that Danny Sufi had one of his competitors out of the proceedings, or at least well behind him. And unfortunately, both Brownson and Philip Lindberg would get caught out with spins. Lindberg would then stall the car, and that meant that we would go to full course yellow. Sufi would have to back out here as double yellow flags were waving at the first corner. He got past, but then the full course yellow board came out, and he said, okay, I'm going to give the position back for the time being. But Sufi was showing his intent aggressively behind Quentin Joseph throughout the full course yellow period, and just a few corners into green flags, Sufi would be through. Wolfgang Peyer demoted by Christian Gizzi. That was for 3rd place, about 10 minutes from home. Danny Sufi started doing qualifying laps, and ultimately he would win the race by more than 30 seconds. 4 from 4, the 100% record remains for Danny Sufi and Conrad Motorsport in the Prototype Winter Series. Very impressive driving from the American racer. 38.2 seconds clear of Quentin Joseph. Christian Gizzi, 54 seconds back in 3rd place. Racing Experience's Wolfgang Peyer can be happy with his performance in 4th. John Brownson will again be disappointed that an opportunity to potentially fight for a win was lost in 5th place, and Philip Lindberg unfortunately not reaching the flag for high-class racing